the community. We want to thank her for the time because we know that you have to hurry for a negotiation meeting. So I know that today is a very busy day. And then we will continue with the presentation of two members of the community of practice. And we will finalize with some final remarks and conclusions that will be presented by the representative of the Green Climate Fund. So, Mrs. Brenda Pequeño, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rosa, for the invitation. And it's great to be here at the Panama Pavilion. I would like to make just a very brief comment, as you mentioned, as Mexico supporting the readiness program for Panama. The readiness program, as you probably know, is to strengthen the CPDAE at an institutional level and the capacity of its members to develop and deploy climate change projects. Currently, in Mexico, we have one the Mexican Institute for Water Technology, and one DAA, that is the Mexican Fund for Natural Conservancy. And we have only two national development banks that are under accreditation process, Banobras and NAFIN. Actually, NAFIN was already accredited, but it has some conditions also to be able to work as an NDA. The fight against climate change is a shared responsibility. Countries must work hard, hand in hand, to deliver international. However, we must acknowledge the technical and institutional constraints to access these funds and deploy their policies. Therefore, it is essential to have a support network among developing countries that allows us to learn from each other, exchange views, and propose solutions, enhance projects, and improve our relations with the GCF and the IMF, thus speeding up actions to mitigate climate change. In the case of Mexico, the Mexican Fund for Natural Conservancy has a long track working with the Global Environment Fund facility, and recently got approved his first cross-cutting project at the GCF. This project, Rulers, that is actually the first project that Mexico has presented as a country, was praised by the GCF for its innovative components and benefit from them, and is expecting to learn from the knowledge that other institutions have acquired. As developing countries, we have common challenges, but these do not cluster only by region. It is easy to assume that a country like Mexico may not have commonalities with an Asian Pacific country. But why should we assume this? What benefit does it have? One cornerstone of these proposals must be humbleness. We should be ready to engage with each and every member of this increasing network and to recognize the universal goal that we share. So we totally support this kind of programs and count on us to engage in it.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Brenda. So we know that you have to live in, so thank you so much for coming, and we will continue in contact with Mexico. We thanks a lot because you are one of the countries that give support to the project also in matching funds, because it's a readiness global project, because it involves NDAs and needs from both funds, adaptation and green climate funds around the world. So it's quite important, the process and the support that Mexico provides. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. I have to run because negotiation finance track is very heavy.
Yes, and it's important. Thank you so much. We will continue the session with a presentation of Claudia Godfrey. She is the Innovation and Strategy Director of Profonampe in Peru, and also she is the Community of Practice Chair. She will be with us, connected from Peru. Also, we will have today to Mrs. Aizata Bobosal. She is Head of Climate Finance Unit. Mrs. Sal is currently a Senior Expert in charge of the coordination of the CSE Climate Finance Unit, both in terms of projects and programs development implementation, and monitoring. She also is the best vice chair of the Community of Practice for Direct Access Entities. And the final session will be presented by Mr. Olade Balo Akapo. He is the regional officer for African region for the Green Climate Fund. He is right now connected from South Korea. So thank you, Claudia, for your time and for your availability to present this effort that we have been working for the last 2 or 3 years. So the floor is yours, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Rosa, and good afternoon, colleagues. And thank you very much for this opportunity to Panama for hosting this event. We are very happy as a community to be at this moment sharing with you our experiences and what are we learning these days. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see. You can put in presentation mode.
Yes.
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to tell you about our community, and first of all, why communities of practice are important. Communities of practice started spontaneously when people come together under a common purpose to build trust and confidence in order to share knowledge, developing thereby share practice, which creates collective intelligence, which becomes implicitly held knowledge within each. So communities of practice help us to support and give us confidence and motivation, help us learn and grow our skills and get better at what we do together, help us share our knowledge and join up related work, help us scale our ways of working and share common approaches across teams, and help us collaborate and create better practices for everyone. So what is the CPDAE, the Community of Practice of Direct Access Entities? It's a global network integrated by national implemented entities of the Adaptation Fund and direct access entities of the Green Climate Fund, both organizations accredited by both organizations, involved in the programming of climate change adaptation and mitigation finance through the direct access modality. So the idea is to share and to learn the best practices approach to enhance country ownership of climate projects. So what is the purpose of the community, of the CPDAE? Increase the effectiveness of entities in accessing resources, programming those resources, and implementing adaptation and mitigation projects and programs with their in-house capabilities. Our objectives: first of all, strengthening communication, knowledge exchange, and experience sharing. Development of in-house capabilities without relying on technical assistance from consultants. And of course, support South-South cooperation between NIEs and DAEs and future accredited entities. The benefits of being part of our community: first of all, increased productivity and quality of work, increased communication with peers, access expertise from peers, continue learning and developing professionally, develop a sense of professional identity among the members, and keep up to date with current trends, technology, innovations, and best practice in adaptation and mitigation projects and programs. Of course, enhancing professional reputation also. We had a meeting in Durban in 2018, thanks to the support of the Adaptation Fund, the Green Climate Fund, and the African Development Bank. And in that meeting, what was achieved? We approved a charter of governance, also an action plan of the community, a template of letter of commitment to regulate how or what members want to be part of the community, and a first committee was elected. This committee is formed by 3 languages group, the 3 main, French, English, and Spanish, and we have 2 members per language. From the French, my colleague Isata Sal, that is with you in the room, Miriam Andalusi, she is from Ada, Morocco. From the English group, Miss Sheila McDonald from Jamaica, Miss Lisa Andon from Micronesia, my colleague Rosa Montañez, that is also in the floor with us, and I representing as chair the community, and Isata is the vice chair of the community. What has been achieved at this moment with, as you know, with the pandemic, many things that we plan to do get delayed, but we think we made important achievements. So first of all, we approved guidelines for operations of the committee of the CPDAE. We review and approve the governance charter of the community. Also the action plan, the final version of the action plan. We participate in seminars, webinars, and global meetings presenting the CPDAE. And also with the support of the Adaptation Fund, we hired a temporary part-time consultant to support us to develop all what we need for the committee. So also we design and systematize a survey to assess capacity building needs. And with this, we identify gaps and barriers. The first one was we need to establish an operational and functional governance framework and implement this action plan that was approved. We need meeting requirements for accreditation and reaccreditation. We need, we identify that there is a lack of capacity to develop high quality concept notes and funding proposals. This is maybe the most important. The pre-origination and development is something that we need to strengthen. Also, knowledge management and lesson sharing. And of course, the language barriers that we have among the group. And what are our next steps? Analyze and communicate to the community the result of this survey. Develop the communication and coordination strategy for the community. The definition of a mechanism of communication among the members. We are thinking in a platform. And this participation in the COP-26. And also complete the approval process of a readiness proposal that we have been developing during this month with the support of the Green Climate Fund, the Adaptation Fund, and the GIC. So I am not going to go deep about the readiness proposal because my colleague Isata is going to tell you more about this. So how can you become a member if you are an NIE or a DAE? You just need to send us a commitment letter. You can find it in this link, Communities of Practice Adaptation Fund. Sending this letter to myself and my colleague Isata, Chair and Vice Chair. The idea of our community is try to keep it simple and do step by step things that we need, trying to help all each other as Rosa is giving us this space to tell you about the community. So thank you very much. This is the presentation. If you have questions, maybe you can tell us or we can continue talking about this.
Thank you, Claudia. And then we will open for questions. And now we will continue for the presentation of Mrs. Aizata Bobo. As I mentioned, she is the head of Climate Finance Unit of the Center de Suivi Ecologique, and she is also the CPDAE member, and she is coming from Senegal. So Aizata, we will present the project for readiness, strengthening the capacity of direct access entities through the community of practice for direct access entities to access the climate finance and implement adaptation and mitigation programs and projects. So Aizata, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Rosa. Thank you so much to everyone. My presentation will focus on our multi-countries readiness proposal. And I think that Claudia has already mentioned the progress and gaps since the creation of the CPDAE. So I will go to the next slide. Why this readiness proposal? In that sense that the aims of this readiness proposal is to strengthen the CPDAE at an international level and the capacity of its members to perform better and access climate finance and develop and implement adaptation and mitigation project and program efficiently. This will be done by strengthening the CPDAE's governance, framework and communication and outreach mechanism, bringing CPDAE members on various technical issues that would allow them to address the above mentioned in terms of gaps. Sorry. No, just okay, and gaps, and develop on their mandate. Also, the objective of this readiness is to improve the understanding of the CPDAE members of the reaccreditation and accreditation upgrade process. And this proposal will also support the preparation of the pipeline of some DAEs, and also to develop, as I mentioned, tools for experience and knowledge sharing. Is here. Can I have for the next slide, please? Yeah. Okay. The main beneficiary for this readiness proposal are the members of the CPDAE. For the membership has at the time of writing this proposal. And the implementation period is 24 months, and the total budget is 1,17,437. And the lead national designated authority is the Ministry of Economy and Finance of Peru, and the delivery partner is GIZ. And as you know, if we strong the CPDAE entities or the DA will be strong. And if the entity is strong, the country is also strong and can mobilize resources to fight against effect from the climate change. For the monitoring and evaluation, based on the assessment of the project outcome and impact, we also do semi-annual progress report, and this report will be shared with all stakeholders, NDA and members of the CPDA. Also, periodical process update meeting will be done between GIZ and the CPDA's committee and members, and between GIZ and all service providers. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Aisat. Right now, we will have to Mr. Olade Balo. He will make some remarks and conclusions, and then finally we open the floor for some questions for the public. So Mr. Olade is the regional officer from the Green Climate Fund representing for the African region. He is right now connecting from the offices of GCF in South Korea. Mr. Olade.
Thank you very much, Rosa. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thanks. Distinguished participants, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I have the privilege on behalf of Mr. Pa Usman Jarjo, Director of Country Programming Division at the Green Climate Fund, to give these remarks for this side events. So as a country-driven fund, GCF works closely with direct access entities nominated by developing countries. The GCF strategic plan for 2020-23 emphasizes the need to ramp up the support to national and regional DAEs to play a prominent role in GCF programming and channel significantly more GCF funding. In that regard, we help DAEs to design, develop, and implement the most urgent and impactful climate projects identified by countries in their national climate strategies and country program. With respect to the importance of CPDAE, it's important to recall the ultimate goal of the GCF support to DAEs, which is to enable them to effectively and efficiently deliver on the implementation of priority climate projects identified by countries in their country programs, national climate change strategies and plans. And indeed, the GCF has been supporting DAEs to build their capacities and pipelines to achieve this goal. So CPDAE comes as an important partner to meet the GCF strategic objectives on increasing direct access programming, promoting country ownership, and enhance complementarity with the Adaptation Fund, and support the transition toward low emission and climate resilient development. Support to DAEs through CPDAE provide opportunities for experience sharing within the community and of direct access entities, and is expected to help them address the common challenges they have been facing, strengthen the capacity building supports, and accelerate direct access to climate finance. The CPDAE regional proposal, as previously presented to you, is an opportunity to further strengthen GCF support to CPDAE and its members. This regional request builds on an important support that GCF and Adaptation Fund has been providing to CPDAE as a community over the last couple of years. Such additional support will enable CPDAE members to develop and submit programs that align well with investment framework of the two funds. The CPDAE regional proposal has been submitted to the GCF Secretariat on June 30th, went through the interdisciplinary review process, and the feedback review was sent back to the lead NDA CPDAE committee and GIZ as delivery partner. The readiness proposal is now yet to be resubmitted for final clearance and endorsements, and the GCF is very much looking forward to the resubmission. So on behalf of the Director of Country Programming Division at the Government Fund, we would like to stress the need for urgent resubmission, also to ensure the approval of the readiness in 2020. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Olade. Now it's open if any question from the audience. And if not, we want to make these questions to our speakers. What suggestions would you have to encourage the participation in the community of practice of other direct access entities and also designated national authorities to become more active in the processes of the community and also in the project?
Okay, thank you so much, Rosa. I think that concern, the first thing is to, I think that when we develop the strategic, the communication strategic of the CPDAE, the result can help us to more engage the DAEs, NDAs, NDAEs, also NIEs. I think also that the good implementation of this project, this readiness project, can give more, will help the NDA to say, okay, they count, and also to engage other NDA to mobilize other funds for maybe other readiness proposal in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aisata. Claudia, are you there?
I'm here. Yes.
See? Claudia?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Also want to mention that our readiness proposal is also considering this strengthening of the engagement between NDAs, DAEs, and with the funds to encourage this country ownership. So each country will be assessed on their needs. So we think that the readiness proposal, the readiness project, is going to support also this engagement, as you were asking, Rosa.
Thank you. Olade, do you want to add anything else?
Thanks, Rosa. Just to add to what Aisata and Claudia said already, in terms of, specific aspect to encourage the participation of in the community of practice, I would just emphasize three aspects. The first being to have a kind of enhanced governance structure and coordination mechanism. This is, I think, very key in a way that will, ensure the participation of, every member, and make sure that that way everyone will get a sense of the specific need and the support that they can get from the community. And the second, I would say, to ensure that we can have really a kind of a community that will help foster really experience sharing within the community. And this goes along the lines of what Aisata said already, and make sure that the design of adequate knowledge and lesson sharing materials for CPDAEs are available for the members. And the third aspect I would like to touch upon is really to make sure that everyone knows the benefit of joining the community. This is quite important to encourage participation, within the community. And this goes along the line of, clarifying to the members as to how they can benefit from the capacity building and address the common challenges they have been facing. And we have those challenges already identified as part of the presentation, which include, for instance, the lack of capacity to develop high quality concept notes and fund proposal, which is a common, I would say, challenges for them. Difficulties in fulfilling GCF accreditation upgrade requirement, and absence of an appropriate and dedicated tools for knowledge management and lesson sharing for the community of direct access. So in a nutshell, I think if we go through those three lines, will help, ensure at least that we can have a good participation within the community of best practice.
Thank you, Olade. We have a question from our audience.
Thank you very much. I'm James.
Can you join a little?
Sorry?
You can come here, yes, so we can see you. Yes, yes, because we are transmitting in live stream.
Thank you very much. I'm James from Uganda, and I'm a member of the Community of Practice. Uganda is a member of the Community of Practice. So whatever Claudia is talking about, and a colleague from Korea, Uganda, we are experiencing whatever they have already expressed in their presentation. But my concern about the Community of Practice is that issue of the readiness proposal, whereby they would like the communities to make some reasonable contribution to that readiness proposal. We are rather in touch with our leaders, but the challenge you have that we need the NDA to provide or to make the contribution to this proposal, whereby this contribution is not coming forthwith and it's delaying the progress that they are talking about. So I'd like to know if there's any other mechanism, any other way, how we can get these contributions so they don't delay the process or the progress that we are already talking about. I'm in touch with Claudia. I'm in touch with her that we are, for example, in Uganda, where do we get this money? Because it's not budgeted for in our entities. NDA doesn't have this money. They'll ask you, what budget line can we get this money? So since we are starting, my proposal is that since we are still young, as we are, we would really request that probably the GIZ, probably the adaptation fund, probably the climate, rather GCF, they would make a progress in terms of the proposal, fund it, the members get some rather reasonable support from the fund or from the proposal. Then later on, could see how we can move. Because to me, my assessment that we want to move steadily because of that challenge. That how do we start the progress without members making the contribution? So that was my concern as far as I'm concerned. But otherwise, the progress is good. Welcome it. We are members, and we're looking forward for actual progress and implementation and the benefits in the future. Some of us have really benefit out of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your comments. Claudia, Olade, Aizata, you want to add Claudia?
Maybe just hi to our dear friend James. We need the endorsement letter for the country to participate active in the project. At this moment, we are not raising more money. We have the budget that we need. So what we need is the endorsement letter, not the funds at this moment. So we are at the final stage of the approval process, and it's urgent to have the endorsement letter of the country for the project, for the DAEs and NIEs that they have inside in the country to participate in the project. If we don't have the endorsement letter, the entity can participate maybe in some trainings, but we are not going to be available to have the opportunity to engage them as we will.
Thank you, Claudia. Okay, Aisata, something else?
Thank you, James, for your contribution. I think that for this readiness proposal, it is a pilot phase, okay? And in the future, we can engage other donors like GIZ or the African Development Bank. But now we have to submit this proposal because every year the country has have a budget. Okay, and if we just stay to have other endorsement later, maybe we'll be over in the process. That's why I think that we have to finalize and to submit the proposal maybe in this week. And in the other project with the Green Climate Fund, we can work with other NDAs. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Well, with this, we finalize this session. Just with the conclusion that the community of practice is an opportunity to learn, is an opportunity to share, is for South-South cooperation. This is the place where entities can join and we can learn from one to each other. And it's not just about the fund, it's about how we are doing the work on the field, what we are experiencing with the communities, the challenges that we are having in front, and that's the opportunity that we have with this community. The project is also the first step, it's not the last, and as the first step of a community that is born, because it's just we are in the first stage of the community, we will continue working in the coming months for this proposal. Hopefully with the project, it will start next year. But the message that we will receive from the GCF is that we have to move very quickly presenting the proposal because there is a lot of expectation regarding the community, not just to support between the members, but also to work with the country designated authorities to share the knowledge that we have. So this is the message that we want to share, not just with the members of the community, but also with other entities that are accredited by the Adaptation Fund and the Green Climate Fund to join to the community, to participate and to become very active in the work that we are doing, because it's bilateral and multilateral is in pairs, so it's a good opportunity to move forward and to show that the change is possible working on the field. Thank you so much for the time and to be here in this session.
Thank you.